The Bank of Sierra Leone has yesterday officially begun the awareness raising campaign of the instant payment switch that will be officially launched by President Bio next month in February. Now, the instant payment switch is a platform that streamlines and facilitates cross-border and domestic payments. It allows national retail banks and non-banking institutions to connect to one another, enabling them to offer their customers a variety of payment options. Now, the switch operates as an open network, allowing for third-party service providers to join the network and offer services such as merchant acceptance and bill payments. So this morning, to talk about this, we've been joined indeed in the studio by Albert Fode-Boyma. Albert is the Assistant Director for the National Switch Division, Banking and Payment Systems Department at the Bank of Sierra Leone. Good morning, Albert. It's a pleasure having you.
Good morning, AYV, and good morning, Sierra Leoneans.
Indeed. Let's begin our conversation this morning by you, of course, just giving us a synopsis as to what Switch is about. I've read just quite a bit from the opening there, but what more should we know about Switch?
All right. The National Switch is one of the tools that we want to use to achieve the financial inclusion strategy project that the Bank of Sierra Leone and Government of Sierra Leone is implementing. Okay. As you all know, 29% of Sierra Leoneans have access to financial services based on the National Switch is one of the ways that we want to use for people to have access to financial services and products like payments, and therefore we brought the National Switch as a system to be able to connect the banking industry as well as the non-banks so that they can come together and give access to their customers to be able to make fast, easy and safe payments. So we had first implemented the card switching, which was the first phase of implementing the National Switch. So card switching allows customers from one bank to be able to do transactions with their ATM cards on another bank's ATM. For instance, if you have an ATM card for one of the banks and you are staying in Lumley, if you want to, before this time, you want to make any financial transaction with your ATM card, you have to locate that bank. But then we now brought all of those banks to one platform and connect them so that they can be able to interoperate and be able to use one ATM card on another bank's ATM card and be able to have access to funds. This was launched last year, 2023, April, by His Excellency the President, Dr. Julius Maada Bio. So since then, we started with 6 banks, and then we went further to add 4 more banks. So at present, we have 10 banks on the card switching platform. Those 10 banks have been able to interoperate well, and their transactions are happening across their banking network. The other 4 banks, which are yet to come to the system, are working very hard to make sure they come to the system so that they'll be able to give access to their own customers to be able to use other banks' ATM across the network. The second phase is the instant payment, which is about to be launched next month by His Excellency the President, again, Dr. Julius Maada Bio. It has been slated for February 13th, next month. What is instant payment? Instant payment is a fast, easy, and safe payment platform that allows all financial institutions to connect and all other institutions that deal with transactions across online transactions to be able to connect to one another and be able to make payments. If, for instance, I'm in Rokia Commercial Bank and I want to transfer to you in Sierra Leone Commercial Bank, if I am registered on the instant payment platform, then, and you also are registered on the instant payment platform, at my comfortable zone, at ease, at any time of the day, I can use my mobile platform or USSD mobile app to be able to transfer from my own account to your own account. So it means both of us are going to be registered on the platform. Like, for instance, you are using AfriCell or Orange Money SIM. If you want them to put you on Orange Money, you have to be registered. So that is how the instant payment works too. The platform is very safe, it's very easy, it works 24 hours. So we want everybody to have access to their phones 24 hours. Gone are those days that I have to issue you a check, you have to wait 3 days to mature, and then you have access to your phones for another 4 days. This time, if I have to pay you, it's just for me to take my phone at my comfort zone and be able to transfer from my account to your account once both of us are registered on instant payments. Well, that's what for now. We are starting with 7 banks.
Okay.
The 7 banks are SLCB, RCB, Zenith, Skybank, GTCO, CMB, and Access Bank. We are also planning to add 2 more banks by next week, EcoBank and UTB. So before we go launch, the official launch, we will have 9 banks. We have also worked very hard. We have added Orange Money. AfriMoney will be live today to be able to do transactions across the network. And we hope to, before we go to the launch, maybe by next week or the week before the launch, we'll have had QC Money. So it means we'll have 3 mobile money on the platform and then 9 banks on the platform before we officially go live. So by that, we'll be able to give more than 60–70% of our people who want to do financial transactions access to their phones. Because the whole challenge here is, you know you have money in your bank, but you can't access it on weekends because banks do not open on weekends. You know you can't access your funds maybe after 4 p.m. So a lot of people are holding cash because they want to use those cash for unforeseen circumstances. But now Bank of Sierra Leone have invested in the national switch, which allows you, the customer, to have access to your funds 24/7, 365 days. So yeah, any time of the day, any time of the week, any hour of the day, you can be able to do transactions once you are registered on the instant payment, and the person you are sending the funds to is also registered on the instant payment. So that is why we have started this campaign, so that we sensitize people that instant payment is here. All you have to do is to walk to your bank. Those that are already live that have listed, you go to them that you want to be registered. It will not take you more than 30 minutes to be registered. Make sure you have your NIN, because there is a law in this country that tells you before you do financial transactions, you have to have your NIN, so that we have security and we can be able to trace people instead of fraud. So you have your NIN, they can be able to register you, and as soon as they register you, if another person is being registered and you want to transfer to that person, you can be able to transfer to that person seamlessly.
I am sensing that this particular scheme would help to decongest the banks.
That is absolutely one of the issues, because formally you go to the banks, you have queues, long queues.
It's still happening, by the way.
It's still happening, of course. Everybody trying to get access over more on Fridays, or because you don't know, you definitely know you don't have access over the weekends. And probably you are thinking, where you are staying, maybe your bank will have some 1 or 2 issues. How will you get access to funds? But we are now bringing this one so that we'll be able to decongest the bank. You don't need to walk to the banking hall. Once this is for low and middle volume transactions, you don't need to walk to the bank to make any transfer. Once you are registered, you'll be sitting anywhere. Once you have it on your phone, because once you are registered, you'll be able to use the bank app. Or if you are registered on the mobile phone, you'll be able to use the mobile phone app, or the USSD platform that is available for those that are using the button phones, to be able to transfer from one account to another. So it eases the pressure of you wanting to go to the bank to even have cash. Why you need cash? Because of, like I said, unforeseen circumstances that you may want to spend, medical or something that happens over the weekend. But if, for instance, Choetran is on national switch with one of the banks, and I go to Choetran with one for medical attention at any time, I'll be able to transfer any bill that's sent to me right in their presence. They will get the alert, they will get the notification that I've sent transactions to them, and I will get my notification that I've transferred the money to them. So it happens right around the clock.
You see, I overheard one of your directors yesterday talking about the USSD.
Yes.
Please, can you kindly educate us about this? I mean, it's different from the internet. Of course, in our country, we have the internet facility now, but it's not too strong in some areas. You know, there are a lot of people who have been grumbling that, you know, networks across the country are becoming increasingly weak, you know. So help us to understand, will this switch be using USSD permanently or be switching between internet and USSD?
Well, we want to provide the 2 facilities.
Okay.
You know, we have a lot of high-level people that might want to use their Android phones with their apps to be able to do transactions.
Okay.
That one works seamlessly. And we are providing the USSD platform for those that are in up-country that don't have access to internet, but might want to use the instant payment to be able to transfer funds. For instance, in this December, we heard that payments were made late a little bit. So people were rushing to the banks. Some people did not have more access to their funds until after the holidays. If you are in up-country and you have access to your funds and you are being credited in your account, You can use the USSD to even move our money from your account to your mobile phone, and then you can cash out. Or you can go to the customer and also transfer to the customer's account and be able to cash out and get funds to be able to utilize it. So we are using both platforms for those that don't have access to internet, or if you have access to internet but probably the internet is down, you can use the USSD in emergencies to be able to transfer. So that's why we are providing the two platforms. USSD will be working, and the Android phones, the internet platforms will be available for transactions to be done seamlessly.
Let's talk about financial inclusion, because I need to understand that this particular scheme, one of the clusters is to enhance financial inclusion across the board in Sierra Leone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, financial inclusion project is a project that is geared towards allowing the population to have access to financial services, either payments, either loans, either credits, or using digital platforms. So if we now we have brought the instant payment platform, this allows for more people to come on board, because one, you have to have an account to be able to have access to the instant payment platform. You definitely have to have an account with a bank, or you have to have a mobile wallet, because you know if you don't have a mobile wallet, if you don't have an account, then you cannot be able to use a digital platform. So by this, you have more people trying to get an account, you have more people trying to get permanent mobile phones so that they can be able to be registered on their mobile wallet and be able to be accessing transactions. So definitely this will enhance it to increase our financial inclusion rate. And therefore, like I was saying, a lot of people have monies in their houses because of, like I was saying, unexpected circumstances that you might want to use cash. Now you know you have access to this platform 24 hours. You don't need to have monies in your house because of security reasons. Take them to the bank. The banks will now have access to more of these cash that are coming into them, which they can probably use again to invest or do other financial intermediation. So definitely, this enhances our financial inclusion. It will bring more people opening accounts. Those that have accounts that are dormant are now going to activate those accounts so that they can be using them, because you need an account to be able to utilize the platform. This is a platform that has been invested in heavily by the Bank of Sierra Leone, the government of Sierra Leone, and World Bank. So it's definitely necessary for people of Sierra Leone to embrace this platform so that we'll be able to enhance and utilize its usage.
Now, there are a lot of Sierra Leoneans in the diaspora who are living there, and most Sierra Leoneans live on remittances from their families abroad, you know. Will this also be operating or be suiting the comfort of people who live abroad, or just locals?
Well, the National Switch Implementation Project have phases.
Okay.
We have done the first phase, which is card switching. We are also now implementing the second phase, which is instant payment. The third phase is the international gateway, wherein we will allow international partners to make proposals to see those that will be able to connect to our system, so that at least we'll be able to transfer funds outside. Majority of Sierra Leoneans don't actually travel abroad, but we are bringing local card scheme that you'll be able to utilize locally. Similarly, when we now open our international gateway, which is just for us, Bank of Sierra Leone, and our partners to be able to appraise the proposals, and then once you connect those two applications, you will now be seeing somebody from the US or the diaspora can transfer money and come directly into your phone, into your account, or come directly into your mobile wallet, which you can also have access to be able to pay for commodities or goods, or which you can have access to be able to pay for transactions, or for be able to transfer from one person to another. So that is the third phase, and I believe from now, once we launch by February, by March, April, before the project cycle, which is ending in June, ends, we'll have connected to international gateway, and by that, international Sierra Leoneans that are living abroad will be able to utilize the platform by sending the transactions directly to their relatives, and they have access to it directly from the instant payment platform.
You know, the world is going digital. You know, everything now is about, you know, internet, computers, smartphones, and the likes. You know, for countries, for example, I think in Ghana they have Momo. Yeah. You know, yes. Nigeria has a name for it, and the likes. What I want to understand is, will Switch also be solving the problem of holding or carrying around huge bunch of monies in your hand? Now, for the longest time, AfriCell, you know, has been advocating for Sierra Leoneans to go cashless, for instance, you know. But the major problem we face now these days is that not everywhere you go, you would find, you know, transactions being made through Momo, mobile money. You know, most shops or offices in this country receive through physical cash. Will Switch also be taking care of this?
That is actually the aim, because we really want to go cashless. And by bringing this platform, you know, the whole idea why people are holding cash is for unforeseen transactions, because you don't trust the other person. Because somebody will tell you, will issue a check and the check will go and bounce back. And then you come back, you start calling the person to get access to your funds. Now, this platform is live and it's going to be 24 hours. Since we launched the switch, the card switching in April, it has been on for 24 hours and it has been on, it has never break down. So what we are also trying to do is for the banks to be able to be up 24 hours. Because if the switch is up and your bank is down, you can do a transaction, it will not lose out, it will not be consummated because your bank is down. So that's why we have people that are monitoring the system 24 hours. We have 2 shifts. We have those that work during the day, we have those that work in the evening. So that if a bank is down, we'll be able to alert them that your system is down. Because you are discomforting the system. Let's say I am from one bank and I want to transfer to your bank and you are down. I can be able to move that fund from my account, but it will not be able to hit your account because your system is down. So that is a discomfort to the whole system. So the Bank of Sierra Leone is working hard with the commercial banks, with the financial institutions, with the mobile money to make sure their system is up and running too, so that we can't discomfort the system. We want to reduce cash usage. How are we going to do this? Once you are sure that on Sunday, 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., you have forgotten to pay somebody on Friday, you can sit in the comfort of your corner and transfer money. Then your fear of holding cash is gone, because you now know you have access to your cash 24 hours. Why do you have to be holding cash and moving it at your own risk? We have heard stories that people are being haunted because they believe they are carrying a lot of cash. Now you know you have cash in the bank. You know you can access it 24 hours. Then your fear is gone for you to be holding cash. Secondly, let's say I want to go and buy 200 or 300 bags of cement. I have to carry a lot of money to go and pay. And let's say we have 10 or 15 customers for that day who want to pay. It is a very huge burden on me that is paying. I have to sit there, they have to count all of those monies. God forbid you is low denomination. You'll be there for more than 2, 3 or 4 hours. And remember, you have other customers in queue. That is one part on the customer side. What about the seller or the person who is doing the transaction? He has to hire more people to count more money. This is more difficult. Now, all you have to do, make your transactions, your funds be in your account. I can go to any business dealer. Once you are listed on, you are being registered on the instant payment. Once you give me my bill, I'll be able to transfer from my account to your account instantly, and you'll be able to get alerts. I'll get alerts too that transaction has been done. So that means we are now going without cash. You know, all of this cash people still holding is because if I transfer money to you, Orange money or Free money or Q money, the next person will have to cash out because he needs the cash to go and do transaction. Because the person who is going to receive at the last end thinking, I need this cash to go and do another transaction. But when everybody's aware, when everybody believes that they can have access to their transactions, now when you are, maybe in the next 1 or 2 months, when you go to Abacha Street, they will tell you, no, transfer it to my account. Because they don't want to be holding cash too because of these pickpocketers or some hard.
Do you see a possibility for that?
So we believe if they embrace this instant payment and they believe they can transfer to my account, I can be able to use it to transfer to go and buy small commodities to another account, I believe we'll be able to get there.
I trust the process, and I feel it's a welcome news indeed. In a way, it reduces the burden of carrying around, you know, huge amounts of cash, you know. But this brings me to the question now, in terms of acceptability, you understand, and inclusivity. How rapid, you know, or vociferous, you know, has your campaign about switch generally in the country been so far? Because it is from the campaign, you know, the awareness raising, that people will perhaps believe otherwise, you know, stand in the system and trust it to even use it in the first place. So how robust have your campaigns been? Are people accepting the reality of using switch in Sierra Leone?
Yes, I believe we are getting there. Myself and my team from Bank of Sierra Leone we have gone right around the country since we launched the national card switching. We have been everywhere to tell people about the card switching. I remember we were more focused. This is the game changer. I believe this is the biggest thing that is going to happen, and is happening to Sierra Leone in the financial service sector, the instant payments. We are focused on getting it right. Because if you go and tell people about this product, and then when you now try to implement, you don't get it right, then it's a hit back on you. So we are focused to try to get it right, which we have now done. Okay. So that's why we are starting the pre-launch campaign to tell people that the instant payment is here. All you need to do is to embrace it. Go to your bank and get registered. Go to your mobile money operator and get registered. And encourage other people to get registered so that you can all be on the platform. And that we are now starting. We have started yesterday with a roadshow in Freetown. We are going to go into Bo, we'll be in Kenema, we'll be in Makeni, we'll be in Podloko, the big towns, to be able to share this experience. And then we now target the radio stations. We now target other means of trying to get to the people for them to understand that this is a life-changing experience. You have to be part of it. You mentioned the experience with Ghana and some other places. They started on this small level. Once people believe, it's for them to trust the process that I can be able to transfer and get access. The whole issue here is for us to give access to you, to have access to your funds. It's in a bank, yes. It's in your mobile wallet, yes, but you have access to it. You can be able to do transactions with it 24 hours, any time of the day, any hour of the week. You can be able to do transactions with it. Once you have that in your head, you don't need to be carrying cash. We are in Nigeria some other time, and even the guys that we are begging, we are using POS. So if you tell them I don't have cash, they give you the POS machine. So you just swipe your card and be able to transfer. If it's 1 naira, give them 1 naira. So you don't need to tell them I don't have cash.
And that's begging on another level.
On another level, exactly. So we hope everybody will be able to embrace this. We'll have a lot of POS around, wherein when you go, if you want cash, you can be able to get cash. If you want to transfer, somebody can transfer for you, or you use your own phone to be able to transfer from your account to another account. And we believe Sierra Leoneans are ready for this, and I believe they will want to test this and see how best they can just forget about the cash-based what we are doing with cash at all times.
In Nigeria, they have Money Point. In Kenya, they have M-Pesa.
I believe we're there too.
Yes.
Once this works, you have a lot of agents sitting around to be able to support people, to be able to transfer from one account to another, to be able to make payments for goods and services. And once we hit that level, I believe we'll go cashless.
You see, skeptics, or we'll call them perhaps technophobes, people who are not too technologically inclined, we have the old school people, they don't much believe in technology and the capabilities it has in current society. They would say, their argument would be, oh no, you know what, this thing is not too secured. What if I get frauded eventually? What if my money is stolen? What if I'm catfished online? What if my funds are just mysteriously transferred to another account? What will I do? How safe is my account? So in terms of security, how secured and how safe is the switch method?
On behalf of the Bank of Sierra Leone, I want to assure Sierra Leoneans that this national switch platform, the system we get from BPC, is very much safe and secure because it's one of the world's best service providers in financial services. So the system is very well secure on our side. But remember, it is almost on a three-way approach. A Bank of Sierra Leone side, which we are regulating and making sure fraud does not happen, or we try to prevent fraud at all points. And then our partners, they too are working very hard to make sure their customers are protected. And then the third part is you, the customer. You are the only one that knows your password. That is why when you want to do a transaction, if I input your alias, because we are using telephone number for now, if I put your telephone number, every detail about you in that bank that I want to transfer will come up. Your bank number, account number, your name. So I have to check. I want to transfer to Remy. Then I check. I'll see the name, the telephone number is correct, the account number is correct before I press send. Once it goes to that account, if you want to withdraw, for instance, name or any other thing, you have to go to your bank that I make some payment which I didn't want to make. It wasn't fraud, but it was a mistake. They will try to investigate, they will get to the customer, and they'll be able to make way so that you can be able to get your cash back. But if you compromise your password, then it will be difficult for us to trace that because you have compromised your password. Another person have used your phone and your password to be able to transfer money from one account to another account. That is difficult. So we are, as best as we are trying to manage the fraud, and I believe the system is very, very secure. It is very, very secure. I will not say it's 100% because every system must have one or two issues, but I will assure customers that the system is very, very secure. So they should not have any worry. The banks also are working very hard to protect their customers. So it is now left with you, the customer, to make sure you protect your password. You take due diligence when you want to transfer funds so that you transfer the funds to the right person.
Before implementing this switch method, had the Bank of Sierra Leone conducted any sort of visibility studies in other countries that have introduced this payment method that have succeeded? I mean, comparing examples to other countries that are using it, for instance, to see how efficient it would be when launched?
Of course, it will always, Bank of Sierra Leone always do that because you have to do some field study. You have to do a case study with countries that have succeeded. Ghana have a switching platform. Rwanda has. We were in Rwanda quite recently. We went to our switch. That is the Rwanda switch. We shared experiences with them. Gambia have a switch. Guinea have implemented switch. A lot of countries have implemented switch. So we have been working with them, trying to get their own stories, their own challenges, how best we can be able to manage ours, how best we'll be able to make it right for our people. So we have all done all of these studies, and it's quite right that this is the best way to go for us to be able to achieve our financial inclusion project, for us to be able to get everybody online, for us to be able to get people to have access to their phones 24 hours, for people to be able to use this kind of technology, which is very simple, very easy to use, for them to have access to their phones at every point in time. So yes, Bank of Sierra Leone have done a lot of studies, and we have all of these results. We have put them together, and we have been discussing, we have been working with other partners to see how they can help us so that we can get this right.
Does Switch have mechanisms to deter money laundering or money launderers, from using the system to their advantage? These days, a lot of people finance terrorist activities across the world. It's something a lot of countries are, be wary of. I'm just asking, in case, peradventure, someone sitting somewhere wants to, create mischief, for instance, and wants to use the switch method to do so.
Yes, of course. We have anti-money laundering laws in Sierra Leone, and Bank of Sierra Leone, as a regulator, we try very hard. We monitor the banks to make sure they implement the anti-money laundering laws, and almost all of the banks and even the mobile monies are working very hard to make sure they prevent anti-money laundering. We have what we call KYC, Know Your Customer. That is mandatory. So that's why I started by saying you have to have your NIN. And thankfully, we have had information from NCRA that about 90% or more Sierra Leoneans now have NIN. And I believe more than 50% of Sierra Leoneans now have ID cards. On your ID card, you have your NIN on that ID card. So for you to be able to perform financial transactions, you have to update your account details if you have not updated already, so that we know you. We can be able to trace you in case of anything. And if you have not have an account, when you are going to open a new account, of course they will ask you for your NIN. And they will tag your NIN to your account. So in case of any fraud, in case of any activity that is against the Anti-Money Laundering or Anti-Terrorism Act, then they'll be able to trace you. But I want to assure you that the Bank of Sierra Leone, the financial service sector, the landscape, we are working hard to be able to prevent those things so that we don't fall short of those things. But there is a law, there is a regulation. The banks will have their own AML laws, they have their own AML policies, which they implement to the latter to make sure they prevent all of these things.
What sort of documents does someone need, to register for Switch?
Because Switch is going to allow you to do financial transactions. So you already have if you have an account already, they'll be able to update that account with your NIN. Once you have your NIN and you update that account, they'll be able to register you on the platform. If you don't have your NIN and they register you, you'll not be able to do transactions of high volume. Maybe you'll be able to do small transactions because we want to do tiered KYC. If we want to just target, we have a lot of people who have NIN, but they don't know they have an NIN. But because of NCRA working very hard, they have registered almost everybody in this country, and everybody have NIN. So if you are aware of your NIN, they are finding ways to see how they can text your NIN to you. So when you go to the bank will have to verify your NIN and be able to register you. If you also have an ID card, you take it to the bank. You open an account, or if you have an account, you update your bank details, or you go to your MMO, you update your details. so you'll be able to register and be able to do seamless transaction.
At this point, I would like to ask, is there anything that the Bank of Sierra Leone stands to gain from this?
Of course, we want to achieve financial inclusion. That is our baby project. We want to bring everybody, we want to let everybody have access to financial services and products. So if everybody comes live on the instant payment and transactions are being done seamless, I think Bank of Sierra Leone have been able to achieve financial inclusion by bringing even the least person in the villages to have the platform, to be able to utilize the platform, to be able, Bank of Sierra Leone will now even reduce printing of currency, because we spend a lot of money to print currencies. So you now reduce printing of currency because people don't need a lot of cash anymore. All transactions are being done online and digitally. So Bank of Sierra Leone stands to gain a lot from this. The people of Sierra Leone stand to gain a lot from this, and even Sierra Leone as a whole, we stand to gain a lot, because we are trying to de-risk people from holding a lot of cash. We are trying to make transactions very easy for people, so that you can do transactions easy. You don't have to go and wait more than 4 or 5 hours in the bank for your monies to be counted, or to your suppliers for your monies to be counted. These are all huge risks. So everybody stands to gain a lot once you embrace this product and be able to utilize it very well.
So we have just 2 comments on our Facebook page about the switch method. Mystic from Duzak is saying, creating such a platform is good, but consistency is a big problem affecting customer service in Sierra Leone. We are good at putting good ideas. We are good at putting good ideas in place, but the implementation is discouraging. Customer service in Sierra Leone is very poor.
Customer service, that one is regards to the service providers. But I believe all financial institutions, all MMOs, all the financial service sector, each of them have customer service, and they try best to try to improve on their customer service. I believe with this one, they'll be able now to manage their customers very well, because you don't have a lot of crowd going to the bank anymore. Once you can sit in your comfort and be able to do transactions. Because for instance, when banks are crowded, the banks too, or the financial services providers to get overwhelmed. So maybe at times they will not be able to provide the required services that you might need. But now if you have access to it, you don't have to be going to the bank. You can sit in the comfort and do it. So all you have to do first is, if you have not opened an account, go to the bank or go to a mobile wallet and get a mobile wallet or get an account. If you already have an account, then go and update the account and get registered. You have removed yourself from the hassle of going to a bank. Once somebody transfers to you, you have access to it. When you transfer to another person, you have access to it. You go to the supermarket, you'll be able to do transactions with this. Even we are trying to implement the QR code. Once a keke man, you can go to the keke man and be able to implement with the QR code. Be able to make payments with the QR code. So we are also making those things very easy.
Mohamed El Jallo is saying, good morning, OIV. The idea is a brilliant one, but for this to be a success, Bank of Sierra Leone must try and incorporate the informal sector of the economy, and also not make too difficult for registration and payment. The Bank of Sierra Leone must also educate the citizens on a daily basis. That is what we want to achieve. It's the informal sector we want to bring to the formal sector. We have a lot of people in the informal sector that have a huge cash sitting with them. Why are these cash sitting with them? Because they want to be doing transactions with cash. They don't believe they can have access to their funds over the weekend, overnight. We are trying to sensitize everybody. Take those cash that you have, put them to a bank, open an account and put them to a bank. If you have an account already, start operating those accounts, because now you have access to your funds. You don't need to be holding it and risking yourself to thieves and other burglars. So what you have to do now is to take your funds to banks. Once you take to any of the banks of your choice, you have access to it 24 hours. So we are going to make a lot of sacrifice to be able to inform the informal sector that this product is here, National Switch is live. All you have to do is to take your funds and get registered, and then you have access to your funds too. It's the same with you having the cash in your house, because you need it to go and do transactions. Why you can take it to the bank too and be able to use your mobile phone, either USSD or Android phone, to be able to do the same transaction. Lastly, someone is asking, what is the charge that people pay for this service? Yes, we have invested hugely in this transaction, in this system, sorry. So
people are going to pay very minimal amount, very, very minimal to be able to regain recoup the funds and be able to pay back, because this is a loan from World Bank that supported Sierra Leone for us to be able to achieve financial inclusion. But the charges are very, very, very low compared to you coming from way in the West End to come to the central just to come and do transactions. You have to hire a motorbike or a keke. You are risking yourself of riding a motorbike or even driving a car. Now you can sit in the comfort and be able to do transactions. So comparing the cost benefits of it, the transaction cost is very, 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 very low.
Well, there you have it. His name is Albert Fode-Boiba, Assistant Director for the National Switch Division, Banking and Payment System Department at the Bank of Sierra Leone. Many thanks indeed to you for coming. And we are monitoring indeed the switch system. Let's see how successful it will be.
I believe we'll embrace it and it will be successful. I believe.